Welcome to Atonement Lutheran Church. During this interesting time of COVID, things have changed a lot, but we're ready to start our in-house worship again, and we want you to feel safe as you come to worship with us here in our building. So I want to go over with you some of the things that you can expect when you first arrive. Please park in the parking lot. We ask that you come in this main entrance to the church. Think about social distancing. So if there's a group in front of you, hang back a little bit and let them get into the church and get in their place, and then follow shortly behind. As you enter the church, there will be someone from the sanitizing team with the door open here to greet you. They will have on their masks. They will have on gloves. As you enter, the sanitizing team will spray your hands. We ask that you rub it thoroughly on your hands as you sanitize and get ready to be in the building. We also ask that if you could please bring your masks from home. If not, our wonderful quilters have sewn some masks and they're here for you, or we have some of the cloth masks as well. So please use those so we can keep everyone safe as they enter the building. We have some sanitizers here too, so if you come to the building at other times, please use that. As you can see, the name tags have been turned around. We're not using name tags, so it's hard to even recognize people with a mask on, but we don't want to take the chance of touching into the name tags and putting those on. At the beginning of each month, the very first Sunday, we will be having communion. We have disposable cups with wine and wafers. So you will pick up one of those as you enter. Remember, don't open it until the pastor asks you during the service after the blessing of the wine and the wafers. So be sure that you join us then over here at the door. If it's winter and you have your coats, you're not using the coat hangers. We ask that you just take your coat in with you and hang it on your chair. The doors will be open to the sanctuary, where we will have ushers seat you in the seats that have been arranged for social distancing. The other thing that we ask is that you stay together with your family unit. We have small single groups, we have larger groups, so that you are able to, again, have that social distancing. We also ask that you go immediately into church rather than hang out in the commons area to keep everyone safe.
Welcome to the sanctuary as we resume our on-site indoor worship service. We are so excited to have you back as we gather to hear God's word and to share in those promises of God's grace. A few words of instruction as we come into this space and gather for worship. First of all, please do keep your masks on as we gather and are seated all the way through the worship service, except for communion. Then you may remove your mask to receive communion. As mentioned earlier, you will notice that our seats are social distanced. We have them grouped by seats of 2, 3, 4, and 5. Please find a seat as directed by your usher in a group size that corresponds with the size of your group in order for us to maximize the number of seating in this space. If you arrive with someone who is not in your household that you've made arrangements that you would like to sit with, please indicate that to the ushers and also arrive together at the same time so you may be seated together in those sections. For our worship service, as we come and gather and hear God's word, we talked about communion. As the words of institution are shared, you may remain in your seats. That individual portion for the communion packs has a top layer and a lower layer of a seal. Peel back the top layer and you'll find the wafer that you can receive at that time when you're instructed. Peel back the second layer, which is the grape juice that you can receive, and all together in this area will receive communion together. If you'll be worshiping from home, watching online, You may prepare your own elements in your own space so that you can receive communion at the same time as your congregation. When you come in, we will not be distributing bulletins, but rather the worship services will all be on the screen. The words of the hymns and the litany will be available there as we gather for this brief, probably about a 30-minute worship service, a brief service to limit the amount of exposure time. Again, a reminder for those who may have some vulnerabilities or are not feeling well or still at this time are not comfortable gathering in a large space, we will continue both our live streaming and recorded services that will be available on Facebook and YouTube, and you can join us for worship there. Again, we want to make sure that you are safe and that we as a congregation, as we gather together, feel comfortable in this worship space. At the end of our service, as we exit, we invite you to depart through one of the side doors in the sanctuary. The front main entrance is for entry, and these side doors are for our exit. As we exit at the end of the worship service, you will notice that we do have the offering plates here on stands just right by the door. We will not be passing plates during the worship service, but you may leave your offering there in the basket as you exit. And also we have garbage cans at the door as you depart. At the end of the service, we will not be offering a coffee hour or hospitality. We'll resume that once we reach a later phase of our COVID protocols. We also invite the Sunday school students to exit through the side doors as instructed by the ushers, again maintaining social distance as we leave. And those students may return into the Sunday school wing on the north end of the building. After each worship service, after each large gathering, we will be doing sanitizing of the sanctuary. We do have this sanitizing sprayer that we wind up fogging or misting our worship space. Additionally, after our gatherings during the week, during committee meetings or other gatherings, we also sanitize the space with a fogger. Additionally, we wind up wiping down the door handles, the faucets, the light switches. Again, all these are measures that we feel confident and safe coming back to worship and gathering together as God's people. We look forward to seeing you as we come back together as a church.